Hi everyone, it's Danny. Alrighty, today we're gonna answer a question that from time to time does pop up in the comment section of my videos. And this is, how long do orchids live? Now in this video, I'll refer to the orchid plant itself, not the blooms. People usually make the mistake to assume that when the blooms die, the orchid will die as well, which is completely false. The lifespan of the blooms will depend on the type of orchid you have, environment, and so on. But the orchids themselves, to give you a short answer, can live indefinitely. So today I'm gonna tell you how they actually do this. Let's start with the famous Phalaenopsis orchid. Now, Phalaenopsis orchids are what we call monopodial orchids. This means they create a central axis and the leaves grow from each side of this axis. Along its life, this orchid produces multiple leaves from the top of this central axis. This is practically her growing pattern. As the orchid grows and produces more and more leaves from the top, the bottom leaves might start to shed. This is natural for Phalaenopsis orchids. They practically regenerate. So across their lifespan, they keep producing leaves from the top. And this axis will continue to grow more and more and more, practically indefinitely. So along its life, it will continue to produce leaves and of course continue to produce roots. So theoretically, if good care is provided to this orchid and it does not get affected by disease or pests to kill off its structures, it will continue to grow and live pretty much indefinitely. There is, however, an instance where this orchid might naturally die, and this is the formation of a terminal spike. As you can see, Phalaenopsis orchid's flower spike emerge from beneath leaves. In some cases, you will find Phalaenopsis orchids with flower spikes directly from the crown, from the center. In this case, actually in most cases, when this happens, a Phalaenopsis orchid will not continue to grow because it will not have space in the center to produce leaves. However, this orchid can continue to live on. Two things might happen. It will try to produce a keiki from the actual flower spike, or it will try to produce a keiki from somewhere on its stem. We call this a basal keiki. So even if the mother plant will die, it will actually continue to live through its keikis, or better said, its babies. Here is another monopodial orchid, and maybe this example is a little bit better than Phalaenopsis orchids. You can see the central axis here, the leaves, and how this orchid continues to grow. Now, this particular orchid will grow up to be very, very tall, and it will continue to grow throughout its life. As you can see, the bottom leaf is starting to shed, but more and more leaves are created from the top. So again, this one can live indefinitely as long as it grows. If somehow, due to natural reasons, it dies, it can create a baby plant somewhere on its axis, thus practically continuing to live. Here I have a Cattleya orchid. We call this a Sympodial orchid. These types of orchids do not produce a central axis. They actually grow through new pseudobulbs. It might seem they are different plants, but actually they are not. They are just different structures of the same plant. And here is its growth pattern. As you can see, once a pseudobulb, which is a structure of the same plant, stops growing, it will start to produce a new shoot, which will grow. Practically along its life, this orchid will continue to produce these pseudobulbs. In some cases, the old portion of the plant can die off, but the plant will continue to live because it has this continuous growth. So in this case, again, this orchid can live indefinitely. Throughout its life, it will continue to multiply like this and become larger and larger. If nothing bad happens to the entire plant, then it can actually live for 100 years. Why not? Now here we have a Sympodial orchid with a deciduous nature. This means that once a year it will lose its leaves. Practically it will look dead. But again, this orchid does not die, even if it loses its leaves. It will go into a sort of dormancy, but once spring comes, it will start to produce another pseudobulb. It is again the very same plant. It is just its growth pattern. So it will continue to do this throughout the years, and practically with good care, this orchid again can live indefinitely. Here we have a special type of orchid. This is a terrestrial which has an annual growth habit. It really resembles tulips, let's say, in its growth pattern. So once a year it will grow leaves, it will grow a stem, and it will bloom, but once winter comes, this plant dies off entirely. However, this plant multiplies through tubers. So what happens is that during the growth period, it will create new tubers. So the next year, these new tubers will actually give birth to another set of plants. So if you think about it, even though the plant does die, it doesn't actually cease to live completely, because it will live on through its babies, let's call them like that, although it's just a propagation method of this orchid. Now in the end, I will actually state the obvious and tell you that orchids will live as long as they don't die, but bear with me. So as long as something does not kill the main structures of the plant, these orchids can live indefinitely. So okay, I hope I shed some light on the subject, and I know there are some advices or videos out there that actually suggest that orchids in a home have a limited lifespan. This is completely 100% not true, and you shouldn't worry about it. Just care for your plant and you can actually have it for a lot of years. Alrighty, thank you for watching this video. Hope you found it interesting. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and a share. Also, subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos with orchids from me. Feel free to leave me comments or suggestions for videos in the comment section below, and I will get back to you. Also, if you click on the left side of your screen, you'll be directed to orchidnature.com, where you'll find care sheets, identification sheets, and also you can talk to us in the forum section. And on the right side of your screen, you can click to watch another orchid video. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye!